National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union NEHAWU's leadership is meeting with Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Park Stow to help bridge the gap at the South African Bureau of Standards. This as the strike action at the SABS continues for a second week, with workers downing tools over the company's restructuring process. They're accusing the employer of unilaterally changing the payment and employment structure without consultation with the workers, saying it's time that the minister intervenes. A march to his office also planned for the coming month. Well, for more on this, we cross to SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi. A very good afternoon, Katlego. So how has the meeting gone with the minister thus far?
A very good afternoon to you, Nompu, and to our viewers at home. This is a meeting that we see NEHAWU calling for from as early as last week, as they looked towards the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition to intervene on breaking this impasse here at the SABS. You can imagine that the DTIC is the mother body. This entity, the SABS, falls under the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and they say that there have been long-standing issues at the SABS, and it's high time that the minister then intervenes in this particular regard. You still find them outside demonstrating. We understand that the CCMA has intervened as well now to try bring the parties together, as on Monday when we embarked on this strike action for the second week with the workers, we had that talks had collapsed between the two parties. But now with the intervention of the CCMA and the meeting with the minister, the workers here are hopeful that as early as today we'll hear the strike action being called off. But a person that is privy to that meeting with the minister would be the NEHAWU president, Mr. Mike Shingange, whom we find today joining the workers that are continuing to demonstrate. And we understand that you have been calling for this intervention from the ministry, even from the previous minister, Ibrahim Patel, to come through for the SABS here in stabilizing this particular entity. We see you very early in the morning meeting with the new minister now, letting him in on what has been happening here. Welcome to the SABC. Maybe let's start there. Give us a sense of really what happened there in that meeting earlier on.
No, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Katlego, and the viewers at home. Of course, as you correctly say, that these issues will have been raised to the office of the previous minister, both in November and also in March this year, but of course to no resolutions. Today, of course, we met the new minister. And when we met the minister, in the context of the CCMA having intervened, and a process of mediation and facilitation have taken place. Yesterday, the employer, through the CEO and the team, will have presented a proposal to settle the issues. We have given them our counter proposals. They went away last night to go and crunch the numbers. Immediately after us addressing the workers here, we're going to be meeting with the negotiating team of the employer to see how far we are going. So we've briefed the minister about where we come from with these issues. We've briefed the minister about how far we've gone in terms of narrowing down the issues and what is it that is going to break the deadlock. And we've agreed to give and support the process that is now led by the CCMA. The principal agreement we have had that on both parties, ourselves and the party of the ministry itself, we should not allow the process of the CCMA to collapse. We should entrust and support it and give mandate to those negotiators to ensure that the parties come closer.
We hear the leadership of the entity as well themselves saying that they have been reaching out to the ministry to try and intervene as well in stabilizing these plays. Is the ministry aware of what has been happening here according to you? Has the minister been briefed, and what has been his commitment in terms of his intervention where this impasse is concerned?
No, the ministry have indicated their commitment to stabilize the situation. In fact, there are a whole lot of other things which includes governance, because there have been a failure of the board, which is the governance structure here in the entity and other entities. But also, you know that this is a cluster of the entities under DTI. So there's a lot of problems here that results in each branch writing to the minister almost on a daily basis. So the minister is committed to stabilize the environment. However, there's an immediate task now to end the strike. We do get a sense that the minister has been briefed a little bit, but not so much seeing that it's new. He has come back to the country now is from the AGOA processes. And the first interaction we'll have had with the CEO was for the CEO to at least draft a response letter to our letter that we have asked him to intervene. But to an extent that we've briefed him about the history of the issues, we've briefed him about the negotiations that have collapsed, We've briefed him about the system intervention and the minimum areas that can break the deadlock. We seem to be together with the ministry, but we felt that he can't go in there now and tell the negotiators what to do other than to support that process so that that's going to break the deadlock. Ourselves are going to do the same thing. To an extent that this thing can collapse, we're going to have to intervene ourselves and the minister to ensure that by the end of the day today, that was our hope, that's our discussion. We should be coming to a situation where we are able to end the strike.
Mike Shingage, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Let me release you because you're going to be addressing the workers. But Nompu, the leadership just got back from that meeting with the minister, and the expectations then from the workers as well is just to hear how that meeting went. But you hear him saying that there have been commitments even from the ministry to try by all means to support the interventions within this entity. Let me just step out of short and show you what is happening here behind us. And different today from the previous days that we've been here, Nompu, we see a police nyala, a hippo that has joined in here. The police have really more or less strengthened the capacity in terms of the guarding of this premises here. We see the workers continuing with their demonstrations. They are waiting now to hear from the leadership of NEHAWU, their office bearers, their top office bearers that have been meeting with the minister. And we hear that the sticking point where this is concerned, Nompu, is the issue of the entity saying there's no money then to move some of these workers from the lower scale to the midpoint, and they're saying that they want then the restructuring process to be relooked so that the company then finds money to accommodate the workers, including some of these graduates that were taken in as part of the new employ of this entity. But it's back to you in studio for now, Nompu.
Thanks very much, my colleague there, Katlego Legodi.